each showing his talents to try to win. Seize the bull to plow and gold coins will grow. Recall hog to stove, and wood breaths retrieved. With absent mind, how could one practice Tao? To make spirit guard homes to bind the ape. They brawl and growl in bitter quest. 3 kinds of weapon thus crackle and clang. The rake rakes, the swords cut with wicked aim, and with good cause rises the gold-hooped rod. They fight till stars lose their brightness and the moon its light, till the skies full of cold fog dense and dark. Plunging into the battle with fresh courage, the demon king fought as he moved along. They strove for a whole night but no decision could be reached. By morning, they had arrived at the entrance of the cloud-touching cave of the Horde Thunder Mountain. The deafening din created by the 3 fighters, the local spirit, and the band of ghost soldiers soon alerted the Princess Jade Countenance, who asked the maids to see who was making all the racket. The little fiends came back to report. "It's the sire of our family fighting with the fellow who came here yesterday, the one who had a thunder god beak." Joining the battle are also a monk with long snout and huge ears and the local spirit of the Mountain of Flames with his followers. When she heard this, Princess Jade Countenance at once summoned the captains, young and old, of the external guards and ordered them to give armed assistance to her husband. The various soldiers, tall and short, that they managed to call up numbered over 100, all of them eager to show off their vigor. Gripping lances and waving rods, they swarmed out of the door, shouting, "Sire Great King, by the order of Madam, we have come to assist you." Highly pleased, the Bull King said, "Welcome. Welcome." The fiends rushed forward to attack. Taken completely by surprise, 8 Rules could not fend off so many opponents and he fled in defeat, his rake trailing behind him. The great sage too mounted his cloud somersault to leap free of the encirclement, and the various ghost soldiers immediately scattered. Having thus achieved his victory, the old bull gathered back the various fiends to return to the cave and to shut the door tightly, where we shall leave them for the moment. We tell you now about Pilgrim, who, after getting away, said to 8 Rules and the local spirit, "This fellow's very tough. Since about the hour of Shen yesterday, he fought with Old Monkey until nightfall and we couldn't reach a decision. Then the 2 of you arrived to relieve me. But after we went through the bitter struggle of half a day and 1 whole night, he still didn't seem to tire very much. And the band of little fiends who came out just now also appeared to be quite tough. Now that he has shut his door tightly and refused to come out, what shall we do?" "Elder brother," said 8 Rules, "you left Master yesterday in the morning. How was it that you didn't start fighting with him until sometime in the afternoon? Where were you during those few hours in between?" Pilgrim said, "Since I left you people, I was on this mountain in an instant. I ran into a young woman whom I saluted, and she turned out to be the Princess Jade Countenance, his beloved concubine. I gave her a scare with my iron rod, and she ran into the cave to bring out the Bull King, who harangued Old Monkey for some time before we began to fight. After about 2 hours, someone came to invite him to a banquet. I followed him to the Green Wave Lagoon at the Scattered Rocks Mountain, where I spied on him and his hosts by changing into a crab. I then succeeded in stealing his water-repellent golden-eyed beast, and took on the appearance of the Bull King. Returning to the Palm Leaf Cave on the Jade Cloud Mountain, I fooled Rock AC and wangled the fan from her. After leaving her door, I tried to work the magic. The fan was enlarged all right, but I forgot to ask her for the formula to make it small again. As I journeyed back carrying the fan on my shoulder, the Bull King met me, having assumed your features, and wangled the fan back. That's what happened during all that time." 8 Rules said, "It's like what the proverb says. A bean-curd boat capsized in the ocean. In liquid they come. In water they go. If it's so difficult to get his fan, how can we help Master cross this mountain? Let's go back, find another way, and scat." "Please don't be anxious, Great Sage," said the local spirit. "And you shouldn't slacken, Heavenly Reeds. When you mention finding another way, you are bound to fall into heterodoxy, and you are no longer someone concerned with the proper method of cultivation. As the ancients said, where can one walk but on the main road? How can you possibly think of finding another way? Remember your master, now sitting with bulging eyes by the road and waiting for you to succeed. Growing vehement, Pilgrim said. Exactly. Exactly. Don't talk nonsense, idiot. What the local spirit said is quite right. With that demon, we are just about to wage a contest and try our gifts. Let me exploit my vast transforming powers. Since coming west, I've ne'er met a true foe. For Bull King, in fact, was from mind monkey changed. Now's the best time for us to meet the source. We must fight to borrow the treasure fan. With pure and cool. To snuff the flames. The stubborn void smashed, we'll see Buddha's face. Merit fulfilled, we'll rise to ultimate bliss. We'll all then attend Buddha's birthday feast. Greatly inspired by these words he heard, 8 Rules exerted himself even more and replied earnestly. Yes. 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 Go. Go, go. Who cares if the Bull King says yes or no? Wood's born at Boar, the hog's its proper mate. Who'll lead back the bull to return to earth? Monkey is the metal born under Shen. Peaceful and docile, how harmonious. Use the palm leaf as water's sign. When flames are extinct, completion's attained. In hard work we persist both night and day. And rush, merit done, to Ulambana feast. Leading the local spirit and the ghost soldiers, the 2 of them rushed forward and, with their muckrake and iron rod, smashed to pieces the front door of the cloud-touching cave. The captain of the external guards was so terrified that he dashed inside to make his report, trembling all over. Great King, Sun Wukong, has led a crowd to break down our front door. The Bull King was just telling the Princess Jade Countenance all that had taken place and how deeply he hated Pilgrim. When he heard that his front door had been broken down, he became enraged. Putting on his armor hurriedly, he took up the iron rod and came out. Wretched ape! He expostulated as he emerged. How big do you think you are, that you let loose such violence here and break down my door? 8 Rules rushed forward and roared. You old carcass! What sort of a person are you that you dare measure someone else? Don't run away. Watch my rake. An overgorged coolie like you! Shouted the Bull King. Isn't that impressive? Tell that monkey to come up here quickly. You stupid grass eater! Said Pilgrim. Yesterday, I was still talking to you as a bond brother, but today, you are my enemy. Take care to taste my rod. Boldly the Bull King met the 2 of them, and the conflict this time was even more fierce than the last one. 3 valiant persons, all tangled together. What a battle! Muckrake and rod exert their godly might. They lead ghost soldiers the old bull to fight. Who displays alone his violent trait, and his magic powers vast as heaven. One uses his rake to rake. One uses his rod to strike. The heroic iron's more uncanny still. 3 kinds of weapon make clangorous sounds. They block, they parry, they will yield to none. He claims he's the first. He claims he's on top. Ghost soldiers, looking on, can't separate. Wood and earth feuding and darting up and down. These 2 say, why don't you lend us the palm leaf fan? That one says, how dare you be so bold as to trick my wife? I have yet to avenge my hunted mistress and my son. When you alarm us some more by breaking our door. This one says, you just watch out for my compliant rod. One tiny brush and it will tear your skin. That one says, do try to dodge the rake's sharp teeth. One wound will make 9 bloody holes. Undaunted the bull demon lets loose his power. His iron rod held high, he waits for his chance. They churn up rain and cloud, going back and forth. They belch out wind and fog and do as they please. For this bitter struggle they risk their lives. They, full of hate, with each other strive. The stylized limbs go up and down. They cover the front, the back without let up. Two brothers together now strain and toil. One man with one rod performs all alone. From dawn till late morning they fight and fight. At last the bull demon will leave with his hands tied. With no thought for life or death, the three of them again fought for over 100 rounds, when Eight Rules, his idiotic nature aroused and strengthened by the magic power of Pilgrim, began to attack madly with his rake. No longer able to ward off the blows, the Bull King fled in defeat and headed straight for the cave's entrance. Leading the ghost soldiers to bar the way, the local spirit shouted, "King Powerful, where are you fleeing to? We are here." Unable to enter the cave, the old bull turned swiftly and saw Eight Rules and Pilgrim rushing toward him. He became so flustered that he abandoned his armor and his iron rod. With one shake of his body, he changed into a swan and flew into the air. When Pilgrim saw it, he chuckled and said, "Eight Rules, the old bull's gone." That idiot was completely ignorant of the matter, and the local spirit did not perceive either what had happened. All of them were staring this way and that, madly searching before and behind the Horde Thunder Mountain. "Isn't he up there flying in the air?" said Pilgrim as he pointed with his finger. "That's a swan," said Eight Rules. "A transformation of the old bull," said Pilgrim. "In that case," said the local spirit, "what shall we do?" "Fight your way in, the two of you," said Pilgrim, "and exterminate all those fiends."